All right, it is 5:46 p.m. and you're looking at what is remaining engineered light. This is my shuttle that appears at a distance. This is why you engage in what is engineered light, and you have demons that are pacing in relevant position at all times. This is just ones that's in close proximity, all right? The demons are pacing on Alvarado Street in an environment that is entirely unnatural and impossible, especially when at 5:46 p.m. at the same time, the entity is maintaining the light source over the Fontana Lewis Library at 5:46, where you're seeing the Fontana Police Department waging what is a threat against my life while they're engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring. And you know that by the placement of the light source. The light source is over not only the Fontana Chamber of Commerce as early as 8 o'clock in the morning. I documented the Fontana Police Department group stalking at the intersection of Arrow and Sierra Avenue at 9 a.m. Officer McMillan under the light source at that intersection. The Fontana Lewis Library, it's feet away across the street. The Fontana Lewis Library, the venue where the Fontana Police Department are monitoring my documentation as I documented on this particular day, which I will remind you about. You have the same phenomenon where the sun is not possibly present at the same in the same manner. First of all, no sunlight's going to be inside of my bedroom, but you also have the hallmark of the entity stalking in the path in concert with there you go, via aircraft, flying over the sun. They are higher than the sun right now, and that's amplification, that's relevant positioning, and this is exactly what the Los Angeles Police Department is engaging in. I want you to pay attention to the environment that they are stalking in. The state of California engages in what is group stalking by plane and helicopter, and they are doing it in concert with the people of the state. They are demons that surround, and I mean that's a demon-possessed individual that's flying that plane. Those are demons affiliated with the Los Angeles Police Department, and those are demons affiliated with the Fontana Police Department, where you are looking at this hostile minion of affiliated with Fontana PD under the light source at 5:46 at the Fontana Lewis Library. I believe that's 8437 Sierra Avenue in Fontana, California. Nowhere visible over 1800 North Alvarado Street in Los Angeles 90026 at the same time or at any time. The entity is documented as maintaining a light source both at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day. But what you do see in both venues, and by venue I mean literally the city of Fontana and the city of Los Angeles, because you have what is mutually exclusive. First of all, the sun does not remain present from the beginning to the end of the day at one address. The sun is a constant moving gaseous ball of fire that does not hover over buildings. This should be set on fire, but it's not. The entity engages in flying next to and flying around and flying beside the plant, and by the entity I mean these demons in helicopters. They fly right next to the sun. This is not the natural environment, and these are things that you only experience, that you only pay attention to when you happen to be targeted. And somebody like me, I just documented it, okay, because I recognize the asininity, what was purely wicked and very demented and malicious, but also that which I knew was beyond something that anybody would readily believe. And I mean a reasonable objective surveyor, not a malicious actor that wants to keep the system concealed. Okay, there's a difference. So this is speaking to what is undeniable evidence. And the entity acting via the Fontana Police Department is the entity that's acting via the Los Angeles Police Department. And understand those corrupt police departments that are engaging in demonic activity, which is criminal, okay? It's criminal monitoring, and it's demonic at its core and its nature. And this is why you have impossible light here. Want to be clear, while you're looking at the light source that's in front of me, there is no iteration of sunlight that's going to create any light at that same vantage point. This is engineered light that's hitting surfaces in some way and just always engages in what is coincidentally maintaining presence on surfaces around while the entity is group stalking by plane and helicopter. That's why you're disbanding the Los Angeles Police Department. Do not be distracted in any way, because you're going to disband them. Those are demons that are hostile while I document them. This is impossible light while the sun is over the Fontana Lewis Library at the same exact time. Understand that. And the entity is waging an unlawful threat against my life while I document and expose it, and that's going against what is the people of the state who are going to be prosecuted for engaging in this system of terrorism in the United States. In the United States. This is crossing path. 9 EMB 6826. They're going to federal prison. They're crossing path with LAP. They're crossing path in this specific environment, monitoring in your face, communicating a threat to you while they're all monitoring what I'm doing, what I'm saying on my phone. This is a monitoring entity, and there are a bunch of demons that are sex offenders also aware of the fact when I'm pulling my panties down, keeping what is engineered light inside of my private space. Sunlight does not appear on your ceiling. It does not create magnification. It does not create shadows of what it's hitting through closed blinds on the third floor while the sun is at the same time over the Fontana Lewis Library. And I'm showing you what are the hostile demons that are stalking in helicopters and also in police vehicles, which is what you see at the Fontana Lewis Library at 5:46 p.m. All right, that was a hostile minion whom I documented, and then he returned, illustrating, demonstrating an unlawful threat while he's monitoring. All right, all of the government is going to be put in its place while it is first of all monitoring and then continuing to pose a threat to your life while you're documenting it. That's what was going on at the Fontana Lewis Library, and he's going to federal prison. You're going to disband the Fontana Police Department. This is a matter of justice. This is a psychopath that maintains an environment around you while it wants to obsessively stalk you and then has the audacity to threaten your life because you are documenting and exposing it. All right, it doesn't get any more demented than that. And this is a shared condition by the people of the state. This is exposing what is demonic activity. It is no longer a secret. You know it by the environment. You know it by the environment. You know it by the behavioral pattern. All right, you know it by the engagement and what is psychopathic aggression. There is no sunlight that's ever going to hit this building at any time of day while the sun's over the Fontana Lewis Library. You need to understand that. There is no sun hovering over building 1800, creating any of this light activity, hitting building 1806, or aiming any sunlight into my bedroom like you see while the sun is over the Fontana Lewis Library. This is not the same. All right, this is not the same sky space, so I'm not going to see any of this if that was the sun over the Fontana Lewis Library. This is why you know, and this is why you maintain an environment, because people are engaging in what is ongoing criminal facilitation. And it is grounds of federal prison. All right, the entity is engaged in ongoing obsessive stalking, and this is criminal facilitation while you're looking at it. This is crossing path, and they are doing so while I'm inside of my private space, when I wake up, when I get up, when I go to the bathroom, when I'm taking a shower, when I'm indisposed, in other words, and I'm being graphic because you need to understand that the sex offenders that the demon possessed are. In the same way that they listen to me utter the words that is going to serve for what is a monstrosity of a federal prosecution, they're listening to that and they engage in waging a threat. In doing so, they're also sitting back and listening to me pull my panties down. Sex offenders, crossing path, not coincidentally in the specific environment. Grounds of deportation, grounds of federal prison, grounds of losing all federal aid, right, while they're acting within an entity maliciously so. So I want you to look at this light source again, because this is not what is over the Fontana Lewis Library. It's impossible, all right? And I'm surrounded by a population of psychopaths who are engaged in what is a concealed system, but it's not concealed anymore. There is no sun that will be over the Fontana Police Department, contrary to what you see, while that entity is, by virtue of that presence of that environment, which is a scientific impossibility, you're talking about what is a waging of a threat. 8HKT, 8H TK 363 federal prison, and you already know the Ledesmas going to federal prison. The entity is engaged in what is an ongoing waging of a threat, and this is 5:53 p.m. and this is the light source that is again setting in alignment to my apartment. And you're looking at the fact that you can see it. The entity was doing the same thing this morning, rising the light source as though that's the sun. Again, that was 7:30, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was 10 hours ago. All right, not the sun. Also, when you juxtapose it with what you're seeing at the same exact time, 5:46 p.m. at the Fontana Lewis Library, where, by the way, the light source is over me as a matter of documentation, where I'm documenting its light source. It's there at 8 o'clock in the morning. In particular, Officer McMillan with the Fontana Police Department, the same department that's going to be disbanded, while he's group stalking at Arrow and Sierra, across the street from the Fontana Lewis Library, where the sun is not going to be present from morning until evening. This is P.O.C.